Hi, Eric Wetherington here, and today I want to talk about a common question that we get from some property owners. They're struggling with a decision as to whether they want to sell their house or they want to rent it out. And so sometimes they come to us and ask, should we put our house on the market for sale and for rent at the same time and then just see what happens and whoever comes along first? If a renter comes along first, we'll rent it. If a buyer comes along first, then we'll sell it. Well, today I want to talk about some of the pitfalls that can be experienced when you simultaneously list a house for rent and for sale. Most of the time in our experience, we have found that when people try to list a house for sale and for rent, deep down, generally they really want to sell. That's been our experience. And so what happens is when a tenant comes along, then they start to get skeptical and they don't really make necessarily a great decision about whether or not to rent to that tenant because deep down they're really still holding out hope that they're going to find a buyer. And in many cases, we've seen someone come along who really wants to rent that house. They even go through the application process. Sometimes they even sign the lease. And then sure enough, what happens is somebody pops up and says, oh, I want to buy the house. And then the owner gets into this difficult situation where they're trying to talk the tenant out of their lease, or they're having to pay the tenant to leave that lease and go find another property because the owner ultimately really wants to sell. So our recommendation, if you own a home and you're thinking about renting it or you're thinking about selling it, make a decision, choose one, and do that. So if you want to put your house on the market for sale, and if after 3 or 4 or 5 months it doesn't sell, then you can take it off the sale market, put it on the rental market, and we can find you a tenant or help you find a tenant and move forward from there. Or if you decide ultimately that you don't want to put it on the market for sale and you just want help or you want to find a tenant for that property and have it be a true rental, then just focus on that. But keeping one focus, whether that's focus on trying to sell it or focus on trying to rent it, we find that's really in the best interest of everybody that's involved. If you have any questions about your rental needs, please feel free to reach out to us here at New Heights Property Management. We'd be happy to talk to you.